Welcome back to the How Can You podcast, where we dive deep into the minds of entrepreneurs, figure out how they got where they are, so then you could do the same thing. So today I'm here with Adam. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Adam. Adam Mahdoul is my full name. I'm from the UK originally, 28 years old. I've been traveling the world and building businesses for the past decade, for the past 10 years. Currently, I run different event businesses in Mexico, Colombia, here in Bali, as well as an online coaching platform and a brotherhood platform, kind of like Hustlers University, but a bit more mellow, for the mindset.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I'm currently doing at the moment. Yeah.
Cool. So you do a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
And obviously it's been a long journey for you. So I want to go back to those early days of like what made you what made you step into the world of entrepreneurship? What made you an entrepreneur?
Okay. We can go way back. Okay.
Yeah.
So probably go back to when I was 18 years old. So I used to work in a call. Do you have call centers and like customer service? Someone calls you up and it's like, can I upgrade my phone? I used to work in one of them. I was probably 17. I was getting $15,000 a year. Yeah, it was a lot of money to me back then. I don't have rich parents. I don't really come from anything. And then one day I was looking online, like on Indeed, and I seen a job opportunity to sell houses in Dubai. It's like the headline was, "Do you want to earn $100,000?" I was like, it's a scam, but let me just apply anyways. It's 100% a scam, so let me apply. And then I got a phone call, but the phone call was a British person. I was like, okay, let me look into it a bit more. Back then there was no Instagram, so it was just Facebook. And I was looking at the people who were working there. They're all driving Ferraris, they've got Bentleys. So I'm like, right, okay, so it's possible. It's a commission-only job. So we'll run through. I went to the interviews and stuff. And I'm like, right, I lied on my CV. I was like, I already work in real estate. I lied. I was like, okay, I already do that. And they offered me the job. So I left. I took out a loan from the bank. I literally had no money. So I took out probably like $8,000 loan. And then moved to Dubai when I was 18. Whilst I was in Dubai, I met some of the most influential entrepreneurs ever. And it really just flipped my mind of what these guys were earning $50,000-$60,000 a month easy. I didn't even know it was possible. I didn't know. Like my parents were probably earning $30,000, $40,000 max, like for their whole life. And these guys are 22 years old earning that money. So I didn't know it was possible. So from there, it just flipped the switch of, you really need to level up. So I started selling houses for a bit. Then I got into finance, and I just decided I had to work for myself. I couldn't work for anybody else. It made absolute no sense. Like, it really didn't. I seen myself as a true slave in the system, and by working for myself, I could have accountability for myself. It hasn't been a smooth route, not at all. Not like I've had failed businesses. I went through like massive bouts of depression and loneliness, and giving up a few times. But that's where it started, and there is a big journey to where I got now.
So talk to me about you. You mentioned there that you didn't grow up with rich parents, and neither did I. And I think that was one of the reasons why I am who I am. It gave me that hunger of like, okay, I don't want to struggle with money when I'm older. I want to go get money. Is that kind of the same for you?
100%. I remember one instance, it literally it's in my mind. It was like when I was 15 years old. I was in school. I was younger than that. I think I was 14. And I was in school, and it was a school ski trip. And all my friends, like everyone was going. And I went to my parents. I was like, right, can I go? I didn't really understand shit back then. I was like, can I go? They're like, yeah. Like, how much is it? It was a lot of money to them back then, but I didn't know. And I was like the only one who didn't go. And I just said from that point, there was no way on earth I'm going to miss out on opportunities when it comes down to money. There's just not. And it's just like this, like that one instance. Do you know, like that one thing that's just in my brain now? There's just no way.
Yeah.
So when for my family, my children, I will never, ever, ever let them be in a situation where money will be an obstacle for why you can't do something, because it's so abundant. Money is so, but once you get yourself in the right mindset, it's so abundant. But yeah, like not having wealthy parents was definitely an eye opener, and also wanting to provide for them too, because you love them, you want them to provide, you want to provide a better life for them too.
100%.
I had great parents. Like my dad was supportive. Even when I moved to Dubai, he's like super supportive. I had to borrow money from him a few times, like just to get by. But yeah, like when you grow up poor, you have a hunger, man. Like you live a life where you don't really know when you're young. Then when you start getting into your teens, and you understand that there's a big difference between you, your friends, people in your community. So yeah, 100% gives you the drive. I think the worst thing to do is to grow up rich, to be honest, because then I have to compete with people like me it's like it's going to be impossible for them.
100%. So talk to me about when you moved, you took out a loan from the bank and you moved to Dubai. That's a big step. You're almost jumping into the deep end. So that's something that a lot of people wouldn't do. And talk to me about the mindset it took to do that, why you did that, were you scared? Like, talk to me about that situation.
I don't think I was scared. I was just incredibly driven. Like, dude, I come from a place where, like, I grew up in a city north of Newcastle. It's called north of England, called Newcastle. I was like the only non-white person in my school. So I was already like, I don't know, like I had this mindset where I needed to prove myself and prove people wrong. Because all my life, you can't do this, you can't do that. And then when this opportunity came up and I seen it was possible, I was like, well, the only way that's stopping me is myself. And I just had that. Like I wasn't scared, but I was just super like, I was scared to fail. That was it. I took out the laws that, right, okay, what's the worst that happens? I end up back here. That's the worst that happens. I'm 8,000 in debt, but most people are like 20, 30,000 in college debt. That's fine. I can pay that off. Yeah. But the worst that happens is that I end up here. And I'm going to get some, even if I don't succeed, I'm still going to meet these people. I used to watch like, in the UK, we have a show called The Apprentice and Dragon's Den. It's kind of like Shark Tank. I used to watch this and I was like, dude, I want to be these people so bad. Like the hunger was just insane. It still is. It's insane. So it was the only opportunity I had. I never had an opportunity like that. Well, I didn't think I had an opportunity like that. So there wasn't oh, am I going to fail? Like, I didn't think I was going to fail, but it was in the back of my head. Like, I sort of analyze, if I do fail, I'll end up back here. But if this person can make it, why can't I make it? Why not? We're both the same. Like, why not? The only difference is knowledge. And I'll work. Mate, when I first arrived, I was working 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. We used to go door knocking, like in Dubai. Like, I didn't even, like, in the heat, go door knocking. Hey, do you want to sell your house? Hey, do you want to sell your house? Crazy shit. But, like, yeah, so like I would definitely advise, because you're right, and people do say this to me when I speak to them and I sort of share my story. I'm like, dude, in life you only get it, like, we have a lot of opportunities, but when you're younger, you need to grasp these big opportunities and you need to risk it, because if you risk something, then you have more incentive to really work for it. Like if I took out a loan, I had to, like, there was times I couldn't pay back the loan. I'm getting letters back to my mum's house. She's calling me, Adam, what you doing? I'm like, shit. No, nothing. I'm trying to sell houses. But there was times like that. But these things like really push you, really, really push you. I've always been a massive proponent of, like, you die in your comfort zone. Like you really do. You have to put yourself in situations to become uncomfortable as much as possible. That's to grow. Yeah. And to me, that was the ultimate one. That I've been to like over 100, just under 100 countries now. I've worked in like Australia, I've worked in South America, Dubai, was in Africa for a bit. So I've been a lot, like just for me, I just seek opportunities, connect with people, and have very crystal clear goals of where I want to be. And that's it. Like there hasn't really ever been, I've never ever thought I could never do something. I just understood the gravity of the situation, which brings in a bit of fear sometimes. Because you say, right, you'll have to work 16 hours for the next 2 years. You're like, I've never done that before, but yeah.
You make it work.
You have to. Yeah. Like what, like, for me, like, I didn't want to go back to that life. I was so, like, I believe you have to run towards something and also run away from something, because I genuinely didn't. Like I said, I grew up, like, alone most of my life. I didn't really have many friends. I was bullied a lot. So, like, I didn't want to live there, like, so bad. I just wanted to leave so bad. And then I didn't want my parents to live there either. So I just really, like, so once I removed myself from the situation, which is the first step, you've got to take the first step, and then you can look back. And then you're like, right, I will do everything in my power. It's like escaping an abusive relationship. Like, I will do everything in my power, not to stay there, and also propel myself forward. Makes sense.
I like that a lot. So you're in Dubai, you're door knocking.
Yeah.
What's after this?
So I'm in Dubai, selling houses. So I was in Dubai for 4 years, until I was like 23, just under 23, between 22 and 23. First year selling houses, and then I met this guy called Spencer. He was the 99th most influential person in Dubai. He just took me under his wing. I couldn't have, like, honestly, it's like the craziest thing ever. He's like, right, I can pay you commission only. You're working in sales. So I was working in talent acquisition. So he owns a financial advisory company. So they sell like different financial options for people who don't want to pay tax in the UK when it comes to Dubai. Huge company. He's like, right, I want you to hire the people to work here. You know, you got to just call everyone around the world, financial advisors, bring them here. I'm like, all right, cool. I've been door knocking. I'm on the phones, selling. He's all right, commission only, but you get to work with me. And he stuck to his word. Like, I lived at his house for a little bit. Like, you lend me his car. Like, he really taught me like some stuff. So like, literally, like, it's invaluable information. So I was earning probably, I was probably earning probably, bear in mind, I'm like 19 now. So the first year I didn't really earn much. And then from like 19 for like 6 months, I was probably earning like $25,000 a month, which is fucking insane for me. And I was spending it. I was just spending it. I never had that money before. I'm out in Dubai. I was renting Rolls Royces, Ferraris. I was living like a prick. Really, I was really, really wasting my money. So he took me under his wing. And he's like, right, I'm going to teach you the ropes. I'm going to teach you, you know, financial stability. I'm going to teach you about discipline, financial discipline, mindset discipline. So I worked with him for about 2.5-ish years. Then from then, he left. Like, so he was the owner of the company. He hired a CEO, and he was like, I'm stepping out. And I was like, well, I'm only working here because you're here. Like, I don't really, like, it's good money, but half of it is only because I get to see you every day. And also to witness it. Like, dude, this guy's worth hundreds of millions, right? And he was in the office before anyone else. And he left after everyone else 7 days a week. Like, he didn't have to be there. He did not have to be there at all. So, like, I just learned so much from this man. Then from then, I moved to Australia. I got headhunted to become a director of a talent acquisition company in Australia. I think this time like 23, 24. So I'm working there in Australia. I was there for about a year and a bit. Just got super depressed, man. Like, I was just so far away from everything. At that point, like, I thought I made it because I'm making money. So I fell into a really dark hole. Then from then, I went back to Dubai to start a company with this guy, Spencer. But my mental health was just fucking terrible. So I fucked up that opportunity. Yes, after a few months, I just left, went back to the UK for a little bit, couple of months, got myself together. I was around family. Really had to look at myself internally. Really, like, I was like super overweight. I was drinking every day, was doing drugs. Like, I had to really, really look at myself. And then, yeah, so being back home really humbled me because I'm like, dude, I didn't really, because what my whole mindset was is I want to pay for my family, but I didn't do that. I just became selfish. And I sent some money back sometimes, but like, I said, dude, I could have like bought them a new house. I could have done this. But I come back and then the same situation. I really humbled myself. And then I went to South America, started doing different wellness events, psilocybin retreats, different retreats, meditation, breath work, just different avenues for people to holistically look at themselves and heal themselves. And then from then I came, no, I went back to the UK for a little bit as well, and then came here. But I wasn't really working in the UK. I was just a family around Europe, just traveled a little bit. And then I came here. In between all of this, I did a lot of traveling. So say if I'm in Mexico, for example, I'm still business set up in Mexico, but I still got a bit of time. So I'm then exploring different countries, trying to learn as much from different cultures, trying to understand the world from a first person point of view, rather than hearing what someone else said, reading the fucking news. I'm trying to understand it from a first person point of view to really build my mind of what reality is. Yeah. So it's a long journey, but
Sure. So you said there that you were making all this money, but you just weren't happy. And I think a lot of people think that when they get that amount of money, or that a car, that job, that they be happy. And in your case, I guess that probably wasn't true. Was that something that you thought before you had the money?
No, of course, man, because we always think what we don't have will make us happy. It's not just money, it's everything. It's the girl, it's whatever. We always think that. But what money does, it amplifies your attitude. So if you're a prick, if you're depressed, it just amplifies that. It's not going to change you. You can only change you. You know that. Like, if you're unfit, having loads of money is not going to get you a six-pack.
Yeah.
Simple as that. You're going to have to put in the work. It's the same with business. It's the same with your mind. It's the same with every sort of avenue. It's the same with your health. Money just amplifies. I've learned this the hard way. And this is what I don't want people to do. Like, money will make your life a little bit easier because you have less worries. But if you don't have like discipline, financial discipline, or the discipline in general, be out chasing girls all the time, partying, then the money, like, it's going to go, the money's going to go. It's going to be a point in your life where these things become meaningless. and you're just going to be left with nothing. And what I've learned the hard way is that you have to be really comfortable with yourself. You have to be comfortable being alone in a room with nothing. That's the goal for every man or woman, is you have to really understand yourself. And of course, money does help. If you don't have to worry about rent, that's beautiful. But if you're not the right person, because I'm religious. I'm starting to become religious, man. Like, God will give you this, and he'll test you and see if you really want it. He really will. But yeah, I got the money and I wasn't happy because I was just so distracted. Like everything, because I had nothing, and I thought all of these things. I'm going to drive a nice car. I'm going to try and date as many girls as possible. All these things, it's just like, you're just wasting time. You're wasting your life. But that might work for some people. I'm just saying from my experience, it definitely did not work. And I came from nothing. So yeah, but money does help. It does help. It's not the goal. I wouldn't say money's the goal.
So talk to me about like, you're feeling down, right? You got to this place, but you're feeling down. What was the first steps in actually turning your life around and starting to feel better, or that type of thing?
Yeah, it makes sense. So I was an alcoholic. I was a functional alcoholic. And when I was working in the financial sector, I was doing a lot of cocaine. And it was quite a normal thing to do. It was quite a normal thing. Like, I would do it like in the office. I'm young. I'm still like young 20s at this time. And I've got like these, people, we all respect people who are older, who are more successful, got the big houses on the Palm in Dubai. So we'd go away and do these trips and just go with clients and just keep going. So I was bad. The first steps I took was I tried to go to a doctor. So I went to a doctor to try and say, okay, what's wrong with me? I just didn't believe anything that he said. So I was like, right, now you can go fuck yourself. Like,
So just like chemical imbalance.
Yo, all this shit, like, I'm like, no, like, it's not that. I know it's not that. Like, I am unhappy, but it's not. It's like chemical imbalance. You got to take these pills. I'm like, dude, I want to stop doing drugs. I don't want to take more drugs. Like, no, I'm not doing that. So I didn't do that. Then I was going to go into rehab. Just like I paid for to do rehab. But just before that, I just said, you know what? I was reading a lot. I started reading a book by Dr. Viktor Frankl called Man's Search for Meaning. Changed my life. That book, like, literally, I didn't need therapy. I didn't need all that shit. That book, so I'm seeing, like, okay, shit. There's people who are in hell but can still find happiness in the depths of darkness. So it's possible. It's possible. Start reading that. I did some, like, psilocybin therapy as well, which really helped my addiction problems. So that literally, I did, like, 2 sessions and my addiction was over. But to get over the actual feeling of self-doubt, the feeling of I'm not worth it, you don't want to get out of bed, I just started working out, man. I started working out, and I started putting myself first. I started doing things that I knew, because we all know what we need to do. It's just we don't do it. Like, we all know, like, eat healthy, work out, get some good friendships, stop being negative, focus on some goals. And that's it. So I started journaling, writing down the things that I always think will keep me down, and then focusing on that. Okay, these are my bad habits. I'm waking up. I used to be waking up at like 9 a.m. and okay, I need to stop doing that. We need to push that back and just work by one bad habit at a time. And the next thing, it took years, but like, you just focus. I took it day by day. Just focus on this. Go sleep, wake up, and do it again. Go sleep, wake up, and do it again. That's it. And then over time, you build up these habits, even if unintentionally or intentionally. These habits build up, changing your character. Once your habits change and your surroundings start to change, people you meet start to change. It just happens, but all happens within. Once within, you control this fucking beast, everything else starts to change. Rather than trying to seek things, you're really trying to seek out. I don't know the word. External. That's the word. Outternal. You're trying to seek external things for an internal problem. Because I feel like shit. Nothing's gonna make me feel better unless I want to feel better. So yeah, just step by step, write down my bad habits, write down the things that like were essentially problems. Have absolutely focus on fixing these things. Fitness is why, if I said to every man or woman, fitness is the number one thing that we have, like, it's that will control most of our life. We have to be in good physical and mental shape. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to handle the stresses that are coming to us. If you want to become more successful, your life will come with a lot more stresses. more money does come with more problems. It doesn't have to become a problem, but you know, you've got to understand about finance. You have to understand about how to manage different people, how to run a business. You know, when you're working in 9 to 5, you don't need to worry about it. At least when you get paid every month. Do you know what I mean? But you have to understand how you manage this, and you can't do that for a weak mind or a weak body.
Yeah.
You really can't. So I just focused on my health, brother. I was took it day by day, and positive thinking. Read a lot of reading too.
Yeah.
A lot of reading. Yeah, like Principles by Ray Dalio, great book. Man's Search for Meaning. Do that. Like a lot of philosophy, like Marcus Aurelius' Meditation, Seneca, Epictetus. Reading from, you know, for good people, not bullshit news and what people tell me this world is.
100%. I really resonate with the way that you handled things, whereas like you looked internally, right? You started reading, started going to the gym. I kind of had something similar with me. Like I felt super down at one point, and then it's only until I started reading, started hitting the gym, started actually creating something, that these feelings seem to almost disappear. And it's like, it's totally possible for you to just fix without taking these pills or without something on the outside, because it's within.
Yeah, 100%. Like, you have to create, like, if you want to be a valuable person, you have to create the valuable person. You know, no one's born fucking shredded. No one's born nothing. It's self-creation. And I think a lot of times we look at other people at like different areas and we're like, oh, I want that. I want that. Do you know how much work that man or woman has to put in to get that? Like, really, like, dude, for me to get where I had to go through hell, like hell, numerous years. I mean, like, hell, mental. You probably know it as well. Like when you start a business and you can't get clients, you sort of doing, am I even good enough? Like, there's so much competition. The fear, the overwhelming, you're like, what the fuck is going on? Why? I might as well just go and work at fucking Starbucks or some shit, have an easy life. But there's something inside you that's like, nah, man, you can't do that. And you have to battle with that demon inside that's like, right, what you're doing, get up and go. But you have to create the monster. You have to create the monster. A lot of you're Canadian, a lot of Jordan Peterson as well. That man, 12 rules for life. I think, unbelievable, man. Like, see these like little, like the top 12 rules for life and Man's Search for Meaning really, really, honestly helped change my viewpoint. Didn't help change it, like it helped change my awareness and understanding of values, goals, and things like that. But so except from fitness and stuff, like what did you do anything else? Like what were you doing to get over what do you do now if you get into a down day? Because we have them sometimes. Yeah. So what do you do? Do you have a ritual? Or?
I think honestly just going for walks and having like time for myself to actually think, like slow thinking. So like, for example, if I have a problem in my head, I'm like all stressed, like, fuck, what am I going to do? I'll like cut out all stimuli, just go on a walk and just think it through. And just like eventually after enough like boredom or just like no stimuli, I get the answers I need, or I find the answers. And I think, yeah, that's the biggest thing, is just kind of like, because we're constantly always consuming that, we have so much stimuli in our environment. It's like no wonder that you're sometimes gonna feel like this, especially like in terms of like dopamine and stuff. We're frying our dopamine receptors all day. So yeah, I think it's just like taking a step back, like taking a different perspective, and then like just doing the things that I know I need to do. Because like, for example, if I know I need to go to the gym, I might not feel like going to the gym, and it might be tough at the gym, but after, I know that I'm going to feel better. I'm going to go to the gym, you know? Whereas I could just scroll on my phone and I'll feel good in the moment, but after, you feel more shit. Yeah, I'll feel like shit. So it's just choosing to do the things that I know I should do that will make me feel better in the long term.
Yeah, it's like discipline. That's literally discipline. It's the short sacrifices for long-term gratification. Most of the world on discipline, man. Like fast food, fast dopamine, fast everything. No one wants to slow down. Also, as you pointed, being in nature actually really helps. Truly, I believe that. This is some shit we're not even taught in school. Like, literally, I would do this, yeah, I'll go out for walks. Not so much in Bali because you get hit by a car, but like, you know. But yeah, like, if I'm say from South America, I'm in the jungle. I live with the tribe in the jungle for a little bit. It was nice, man. You just literally in nothing but nature. You're hearing the animals, you're hearing the water and the leaves, and that's it. Peaceful.
Yeah.
Fucking peaceful. So peaceful. And then you think a lot better. You think so much clearer. thoughts are crystal. You know, if people really pay attention to their thoughts, they'll realize how quick they change. It's like, okay, what did I eat yesterday? What did I eat yesterday? What's happening tomorrow? Okay, what's happening here? What did he say? What did she say? It's just like,
Yeah.
and people wonder why they're depressed or they're burnt out. You're like, dude, you're thinking like 10,000 thoughts in a second. It's like, rather than having crystal clear vision, crystal clear goals, and I believe we shouldn't really think. You should be in flow state. When you're working, you don't need to think. You know, you just sort of flowing, doing your thing, you're editing, that's it. We're having this conversation. I'm not thinking before I'm speaking. I'm just flowing, the words come out. Whatever comes out, comes out. And this state of mind is optimal. This is the optimal state of mind that we need to get in, but nobody teaches us this. But the only way I think people learn, and you'll probably know this, you have to go through some hard shit. You have to go through some hard shit to realize, okay, shit, what does a man want? Peace. So I can think effectively. That's it. But you're right, man, we're fucked with the phone and the dopamine. I also fall in this trap too.
Yeah, it's like something that none of us can avoid, especially if your business is on social media, which mine...
Yeah, some of mine is, now, yeah.
So it's like, it's almost unavoidable to a certain extent. But yeah, I think it's just about like, for one, I think the biggest thing that helped me as well with social media is to curate my feed. So like, I'll unfollow anybody that doesn't serve me, unfollow anyone that's negative, or just like that I'm having a upwards comparison that's not healthy. So basically just have my Instagram and my social media feeds so that it's people that when I consume their content, and it helps me get closer to my goal. This type of thing.
That's good. Yeah. Do you compare yourself to people a lot? Is that something that you struggle with or have struggled with?
I think so. I mean, as humans, we'll always do this. It's just a part of our mind that we can't ever shut off. We can do it less consciously, but subconsciously, it's as you're walking, you're always doing it. It's just like a part of human nature. But yeah, I do compare myself a lot, and I think it can be like, can be bad at times and also good at times. Because for example, like I told you, I curate my feed, right? So I'm almost in this like echo chamber of like online money entrepreneurs, right? So I'm like comparing myself to guys that are like this age doing this or this, but like it's just in this little echo chamber. Whereas if I zoom out and I'm like, okay, let's look at the world. Let's look at the people in Bali, for example. Like they have so much less than me, but they're happier than me, or they're this.
That's an internal question, yeah.
But it's like, yeah, I think the biggest comparison is just like me versus myself yesterday.
Yeah, that's it. That's a good way of looking at it. You just want to be better than you were yesterday.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what, like when I was saying I'd take it day by day, that was it. Today I was like this, yesterday, okay, I'm better, cool. And you have that little bit of confidence, that little, okay, I can get a little bit better. It's like when I ran a couple ultra marathons at like 100-mile marathons, 24 hours, and I could never run. But I just kept getting better. I would do 5K weeks, then a 10K week, then 11, 12, 15. And then like now, even now I'm doing like 100-mile weeks. I'm doing 100-mile weeks now. And every week it's just, right, okay, well, you did it last week. Why can't you do it this week? You did it yesterday. Why can't you do it today? Like, why not? You're just choosing not to, but you might be in a bit of pain, but what's pain? It's just a sensation. Like, dude, like everybody goes through pain. So that's a really good attitude to have.
So are you spiritual at all?
100%.
Yeah. So were you always spiritual?
No. Define spirit. What's your definition of spiritual? We're in Bali, bro.
No, and it's true. Like, I don't really have a definition to be fair with you. Like, I don't know. Like for me, I think I believe in like the universe and like vibrations and these sort of things. And I'm definitely interested to get more into it, especially through like the gateway of psychedelics.
Yeah.
But yeah. So to answer your question, I don't really know.
Yeah, so I believe, so I've done like ayahuasca a few times.
Okay.
As I said, I facilitate psilocybin retreats.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very deep in the space of like, not just consuming, but understanding like the science behind it as well. I listen to like a lot of Andrew Huberman, some back against them. But on a spiritual side, yes, I believe I'm in manifestation. I believe what we say, we can speak into reality. I believe in karma. Not even I believe in, I know. Like I know manifestation works. I know karma is a real thing. like I study, like I've traveled a lot. So I've been to India, I've been to live in tribes. So I've studied these people, and they're not lying. They're not lying. Like, these things have been around for thousands and thousands, way before like our modern day science and history has been around. Like, even the concept of God, like, Bible's the most read book on earth. Why? I'm not saying I believe in it, but there's definitely truth within the writings of these things. I'm not saying there's a man in the sky. I don't believe that. But I believe it's a concept of what we are. Because we can be the devil, or we can be God. We can be the creator, or we can be the destroyer. We can, of our own lives. So I definitely believe in. I would say if people meet me, they go, "Yeah, he's a spiritual guy." And I think, dude, everyone has to be, because even the concept of it, like, treat people good, like, focus on positivity, stop doing negative things. Like, just, these are the baselines of any spirit, or I hate using the word, I don't like religion, but somebody who looks up to a higher power, whether that is a God or the universe or the cosmos, but understand there is some things at play that are way, way beyond what we understand.
Yeah.
Like, when you do psychedelics, you're like, okay, I get it. I get it, because you see things that you've never even dreamt or seen, or you're like, what? Whoa.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say having some sort of having some sort of spirituality is a big important thing of my life. It keeps me humble, honest. It keeps me respectable, because I always believe someone's watching.
Yeah.
So I'm not like masturbating anymore. I'm not doing stupid things when people aren't, like, I'm really accountable. I'm like, oh fuck, something's watching at all times. I don't mean like just someone's watching, but there are effects. Everything's causal and effect. So, if I lie, for example, I have to go back and say, sorry, I lied about this. I have to, like, even, because we all lie, and little lies, but little things where I'm just like, if I can change it, I'll change it. Was it always like this? Absolutely not. No. I hated the world, man. I hated the world. I was atheist. I thought everything was a problem. Everyone was a problem. It was everyone else's fault. Everything. If there was a God, like, why am I getting bullied all the time? Which is kind of natural, I think, when you're a kid. Kind of natural. My dad's Muslim and mum's Christian, and like, I just didn't believe. Like, I was just so against, and I still am. I'm against religion. I'm against, like I wouldn't say against, like, I hate it, but like it's like a cult in my eyes. Like, religion, everyone has to do this, speak this way, do this, act like this, pray this. I'm just against that. I'm just more of a person of freedom. If one man chooses to believe in God, what he does in his own home and how he practices that belief in his God is what he does. Like, so my dad's very religious. He wasn't at the time, but he is now. So he's trying. And when you're a kid, when people try to tell you things, you just want to be like, no, I just want to rebel. So I was atheist. But I'm telling you, man, as soon as I started, accepting that there is a higher power, and like, literally, like, little things, like, just, man, like, if we just talk about manifestation for a second, just little things where I'm just writing stuff down and I'm just thinking about it. Because once you start thinking about it, then you start acting it. But you don't know this until you are consciously aware that you're doing it. It's like, if you want to bake a cake, what do? You first think of the ingredients, then you go to the store, you get the ingredients, and then next thing you know, you got a fucking cake. It's like everything. You start thinking, okay, I want to make this money. I want to put the money aside. Okay, I've got this issue. This is the solution. Okay, this is the solution. Can I do it now? No. Okay, but what can I do now to get to that point? I can do this a little bit now. Then the next day, you do a little bit more. Next thing you know, you're doing it. You're doing it. So these little things, and as I said, I've took a fair few psychedelics in my time, that it's made me really aware that we don't know everything. So I don't, and the difference between, like, yourself and the ego, and then you start reading books like Carl Jung, even philosophers like Marcus Aurelius and all these philosophers, they're taking mushrooms and they're taking ergot and they're writing these things, and it's like, okay, why was I not taught this shit in school? But yeah, I was spiritual. You're a spiritual man yourself, then?
Psychedelics. When I first got into them, it was more just like high school party type of thing. It is the worst, because it's psychedelics. They're not a party thing.
No.
They're an internal, like, research, I would say.
Yeah, like, it's cool. Like, it's cool to trip, but yeah, it is internal research. It's like a resetting of yourself. See parts of yourself that you don't want to see.
Yeah.
but you need to see it.
Yeah.
Because you're the reason why you're not where you are. Everything's your fault, and everything's your fault individually in their lives.
Yeah, and I would say that's what, when people talk about having like bad trips, I think a lot of the time what's really happening is that their mind is confronting them with the truth that's uncomfortable to accept. So that just it's like it's uncomfortable, right? So it's a bad trip. Because that's what happens when you're on like shrooms. Just, your mind will come up with all these things, and some of them they're definitely true, but you don't want to accept that it's true. So you kind of resist it, and within psychedelics, I think resistance is the worst you can do.
100%. Have you ever had like a conversation with someone where you've done something wrong and they're like shouting at you, and you want to, you don't want to accept that they're right, you know, like you know deep down that you're a failure, you're a flawed person, and what they're saying is true. And you're like sort of trying to knock it off. Like, no, you're a prick. It's the same with psychedelics. Amplifies it. It's like, this is how you treat these people. This is how you treat yourself. No. I've had quote unquote bad trips, but they're the best trips.
Yeah.
Because if you're using now, because now psychedelics is becoming quite a cool thing that people, not cool, but like it's cool that now it's becoming normalized for people to do. You've got like PTSD, you've got actual real deep health issues, and it's helping them. So sorry, and the bad trips. So there's that side of it. And then there's like entrepreneurs who are like biohacking, using psychedelics to fix their issues. And if you have an intention of saying, okay, I know I need to do better somewhere, I just don't know where, you take a psychedelic, it will show you, but it might not show you what you want to see. And what, like the things that it shows you, you have to confront. Like for me, like I was horrible to people, but I didn't think I was. I was giving money and stuff, but I never treated people with respect. I only respected people with money. I was a horrible person, and I had to confront that. And that's so the hardest thing for anyone. Say if someone's overweight, everyone knows they're overweight. Everyone knows you need to lose weight, but no one says it to them. They don't say it to themselves. And that one person who walks up and goes, "You're fat," they're hated by everyone. But the psychedelic says that one person is like, "Do you have to? Come on, it's your health here." Do you know what I mean? And we don't want that, because we don't want to face our own issues. We like to live in this little comfortable bubble of fugazi life. It's not real.
Obviously, like, we know that as humans we're wired for comfort. We'll always go for the easy thing rather than the hard thing. That's just how we're hardwired. But like, why do you think that? Is it the conditioning of the system, just the modern world we live in? Like, why are so many people living these type of lives and unfulfilled? They're not disciplined, all these different things. Their dopamine's fuck. Why do you think that?
Well, first of all, I think you can 100% change it. Like I think you can 100%. I've done it, and I teach people how to do it. You can change your mind. You can change your mind to seek discomfort, and you can become that person who thrives in uncomfortable situations. You can do that. So I don't disagree. But when people say it's natural that we want comfort, I don't know. It used to be, maybe. It used to be, because life was hard. You know, you had to go out and hunt. You know, people come to rape your wife, pillage your village. We had to survive. It was hard. So comfortable things, you know, it's comfortable. But now life is come. You go to the supermarket. You don't have to grow your own food. You don't have to hunt. People don't even have to work hard to get money anymore. And in the UK, you can literally not work, and the government will give you money. They'll give you money. It's not hard anymore. There's zero discomfort in life. And the system absolutely amplifies that, because it's like pacifying a society. People who live in comfort are not dangerous people. People who live in comfort are easily susceptible, easily manipulated, and easily controlled, because because you control what they have. Money, you give them money. Oh yeah, I'll do what you say. You give them food. Oh, okay, great. I don't have to, that's it. So I don't think people consciously do it. I think it takes. I think that every man, because I focus on like my business now is mainly on men. This also applies to women. Wants to do something in their life when they're young, like say like 15 to 20. They want to. It's intrinsic. They want to. They see it. They want to do it. But society shapes them down a little bit. You know, you get 20, 21, 22. Next thing you know, you're 25. You're still at your parents' house, playing your fucking video games. You know, you have no desire anymore. But it's a thing that takes time. But I think there's absolutely a fire in every man's heart. Every man's heart. Because I think it's why like people hate, like my men hate Andrew Tate. I'm like, dude, you only hate the man because he's confronted you what you're not. That's it. It's like, that's it. Because I've seen it out here. I've seen people who make fucking loads of money from listening to this man. Loads of money. Like, I mean, successful. And not even loads of money. Nice people. Driven, successful. Maybe like you just want to get out there, take risks. But this comfort is like, I'm working on something now in this space. But yeah, I think it's a society issue. I don't think it's natural. I don't think it's natural to be comfortable. I think it's natural for us to want to grow and get better. I think I like to do things. I think that's what's natural for human beings. It's natural that you want to protect your family. It's natural that you want to be, like, as a man, what do you want? You want to find let's talk about sex, for example. Like, not what we want, but from a DNA point of view. You want to find a female partner that can birth your children, look after your children. That's what you want to do. Females will look for the strongest alpha male that can protect the family. None of that's comfortable, man. None of that's comfortable. But society now pushes a lot of comfort. Oh, you'll be okay. Just relax. You don't need to do that. Calm down. Dude, like, when I went to like one AA meeting when I was an alcoholic, right? And I was just like, you're talking shit. Like, it's not your problem. It's not your fault. Don't worry. I'm like, dude, it is I'm the one putting the drink in my fucking, it's my fault. But they can't say that because if someone kills themselves, then there's no funding for their program. So they have to feed these lines of bullshit. You know, I think it is lines of bullshit that we want comfort. It's a trap. It's a fucking trap. Comfort is a trap.
Yeah.
It really is. And this is what happened when I started earning money. I became comfortable. And my mental health just went, because we get great satisfaction from doing things. You know, whatever it is. Even if it's just you go on a date, you know, you're really scared, you go on your first date, you're like, yes, I smashed it, you go to the boys. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. There's little things. Or you grow some food, or like, I don't know if you've ever been hunting before, you're hunting animals, like, just these little things. You go, I did that. You draw a picture or something, you're like, I did that. But this comfort in society right now is, I think society it's a downward spiral now, brother, because there's a lot of pacified males and females that rely on other people to live. And that's why I believe this has a massive correlation to why male suicides people don't even know what gender they are anymore. It's like everyone's confused, bro, and it's because they want to be comfortable, and people are telling them they want to be comfortable. And the people they're looking up to, it's like a reciprocal trap. You know, you're looking up to your elders, but the elders, like, you know, people who are teaching in schools, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They also want to be comfortable. And anyone who steps out of line, they're a bad person. Nah, man, that's a nah. So yeah, I don't know if that answered your question, but
no, I think I got some good stuff. Like, I think one of the core things about Agitate's message and why it's so hated up on the left is because he talks about self-responsibility, and that's like a main aspect of all these people that are living these lives. Is that nothing's their fault. They can't change it. It's not my fault. I can't change it, right? It's his fault. It's his fault. Yeah, the depression. Oh, the chemical imbalance. I don't have a job. The economy, government, like all these different things. And I think that's why it's so important as a man to just take responsibility for everything. Everything's your fault. Mm-hmm. Even if it wasn't your fault, it's still your fault, because if you take that responsibility, then you can actually do something to change it. But that's the only way, is if you take that responsibility. And yeah, I see, like, I used to be the same thing. I used to do the same, bro. But I think it's just because the way that we were conditioned in the societies that we grew up.
Yeah, the people that we're learning from are them people. And like Andrew Tate comes out, he's not that person. Yeah. And then the younger kids, I'm a little bit older now, but the younger kids are looking up going, oh, fuck, I'm going to listen to this guy. And then that's why they hate him, because they're like, no, we're going to teach them this way. We're going to teach them this way. But I don't even think they consciously know they're doing it. They think they're doing a good thing by teaching people. I used to be like that. Dude, I got hit by a car here in Bali, like, it was 6 months ago. I was like, that's my fault. I chose to get on the bike. Even though he hit me, and it was technically, I chose to get on the bike. I rode the bike. I didn't strap my helmet up. That's my fault. I can learn something now for next time. Yeah. And that's, I believe, you have to have that acute accountability in your life. Because it's crazy, isn't it? When people become successful, it's their fault, right? They don't tell it's me. I did this. I earned the money. It was me. But when they lose it, oh no, it wasn't me. I had a bad business partner. Oh, the economy went down. I had no customers. Oh, that's very convenient, right? It's very fucking convenient.
Yeah, it's like my friend had this quote. It's like, all of us are self-made, but only the successful ones will admit it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's true. I've heard that somewhere. It's true. So yeah, it's yeah, man. I think everyone needs to have accountability, and it's hard, dude. It's really hard for people to do that because when you're right. If you're in a family, and this is hard. If you're in a like, I'm lucky that like my dad is like he's very, even though we had a rock relationship at the start, but he's very accountable, and he taught me some accountability like that. Like that's like one thing that's distilled in me is like right. If I, like I said, if I go to the bar, if I make it or I make it or I lose, but ultimately it's on me. I have no backing. I have nothing. There's no plan B. There's no fucking. I've literally maxed out everything I can borrow. That's it. I have to. Then these things build it up. But I do understand there's people in families where their parents. I don't want to use no six, but you know what I mean. Their parents are living this comfort life, and then you're surrounded by it, and then someone says, "Hey, listen, you're 25 years old. You don't have to be a millionaire, but you have to be better than where you are now. And every dream that you've had." And the reason you haven't reached your dream is entirely up to you. And then your parents are like, no, but it's the government, it's this, it's that, it's the raise in taxes, it's you know what I mean? It's always an excuse.
Yeah.
And I think if someone's in that situation, it's very difficult to get out. Very difficult, especially if you've ever had like many role models. But it is, you don't have like, if you come from a single mother household or maybe in a single father household and the father's just not present, it's very difficult for these people. So I have empathy, not sympathy though. I have empathy for them because ultimately everyone who's ever fucking done anything great has come from fucking nothing. Everything has come from situations like that. But yeah, brother, man, comfort. It's there's a YouTube channel called Seek Discomfort. I don't know. Yes, theories. It's called Seek Discomfort.
I think so. Yeah.
So good. Like what they do is literally seek discomfort. I tell you one thing about my mentor used to tell me what to do. He used to fucking hate it. He used to say, well, whatever shop you go into, if it's McDonald's, Starbucks, corporations, ask for a discount every time. They're not going to give you one, but you need to get uncomfortable asking for a discount. So we're going to, can I get 20% please? They're like, what? Why would you get 20%? I'm like, I just want 20%. Sometimes they'll be like, is your birthday? But yes, my birthday. But so you can. So even if you're in these situations, right, what I'm getting to is, even if you are aware, because one thing that everyone is aware of it, they just don't admit it. They're aware of it. Because you know how you compare. The reason why we don't like to compare is because it makes you feel like shit, right? But you're aware of it. You're aware. You go, okay. Like E-Man guys, you're like, okay, that's possible. I'm not there. You can be jealous or you can be inspired, right? But you're aware of it. You're aware there's a big discrepancy here, and the discrepancy is knowledge, information, and action. Yeah. That's it. It's not he's better, she's better. There's none of that. But what you can do is incorporate uncomfortable things in your life like that. Just go up to girls and ask. So that's it. Even though you're going to get rejected, but these things build resilience. Go next shop. When you go into a shop, ask for a discount. Even if you don't need a discount, even if they say but just ask the little things that can make you uncomfortable. You can implement in your life, and then that builds a little bit of character. And then you'll start traveling the world. But people who are in these situations where they feel a bit stuck, my first thing is like little discomforts that aren't going to kill you, but they're going to kill your ego. They're going to kill your pride. They are, but that's what you want. You want your pride and ego to die for you to flourish. So yeah, I can't live in the West anymore. Can't, man. I really can't.
It's crazy. So many people that not only live in Bali, but just like online entrepreneurs, or I guess people that say are waking up, they're saying the same thing, because I mean, we're watching the West fallen firsthand, not necessarily about like political power, but just like ideologies, like just like go to the States. Do you know how many fat people you'll see? How many people you see that hate their life, that homeless people, this, that, all these different things.
It's like failed nations, but yeah, the homeless issue in America, it's crazy, dude. COVID comes and everyone's got money to spend on shit. Everyone's got surpluses to give out to people, all this money, but then can't solve their own problems in their own countries. It's fucking crazy. And yet ideologies. When I go back to the UK, bro, some people are like, oh, when are you going to get a job? I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Literally, I swear to God, they're like, when are you going to get a job? And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, are you so fucking indoctrinated into your ideology? Like, that, yeah, but you're going to fail. I'm like, why would you say that?
Yeah.
Why would you say that? Like, what? But that's normal, though. That's normal. Anyone who steps outside of, it's like, I've seen it on like Instagram a few times, like the rat race. It's so true.
I say rats in the subway.
Yeah, that's it. But it's so true. I used to live that life too. You probably did. People do. But like, that's one thing. I think we're sort of went off topic. We're going to our ideology. The ideology of, like, I risk offending people here, and this is just my opinion. It's just so fucked. It's so fucked. Like, it's poisonous. How they teach people in school. How I was taught in school. It's disgusting, and it needs to be changed. How we treat people, like in the West, how you treat people. Dude, in London, so I lived in London for a little bit. I'm from the North. Went to London. I got family in London, lived there. No one speaks to each other. No one. I didn't even know my neighbours. Nobody speaks to each other. No one gives a fuck about anyone else. There isn't any sense of community. There isn't any, like, there's nothing, there's nowhere to go to grow. You know, everyone's drinking all the time, smoking weed. I did these things. There's nothing wrong with doing that. But there's something, I always say to people, why are you celebrating? But your life is shit. Where are you going to, why are you out drinking? But your life is terrible, and you can't even afford it. You work all your week to spend all your money on the Friday. You do the same next week, and that's your life. Do you not see that? Can you not see that? That's your life. And then you're looking online, you're like, oh, what? He's going on holiday, he's traveling. He must be a fraudster. He must be a scammer. No, brother, you're just a fucking degenerate. Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I do risk offending people, but it's true. People need to know this, because this is what I said to myself when I was doing that. When I'm out, I'm like, you're a fucking degenerate, Adam. What the fuck? You know, you could have built some schools. You could have did something impactful, but you chose to fucking drink and do cocaine. You're a degenerate. And the UK, I don't know, I've never been to Canada. I've been to the US a bit. Degenerates, full of degenerate people. And again, we can go into some very controversial topics, but fuck. And it's hard for young men now. I think it's hard for young men who are in these places. Now, for me, how old are you? Okay, 3 years. Maybe I'm wrong because you've used Skype, but I think it's hard for people who are like living in the US and everyone around them's doing the same thing, because we do. You know when they say your network is your net worth? And you do. It's true.
100%.
It's true. So if you're in a situation where all your friends are doing it, you know, well, this was kind of normal, and then you live your whole life out like that, and then you teach your kids that way of living. It's like, dude, come on, man. That's the worst thing. Teaching your kids your ideology. I'll never teach my kids my ideology. I'll let them learn for themselves. Because I want to be wrong as much as possible. I want them to like say shit. And also, the world's evolving so much that the world I live in now is not the same world my parents lived in. Yeah. The world that my kids are going to live in aren't the same world as how they shit. You know, technology, AI, it's all fucking going crazy. So yeah, man. Society comfort will make you a degenerate. Discomfort will make you a king. And that's it. You just need to write that down on your wall. Comfort will make you degenerate. Discomfort will make you a king. Write it down. Put it on your mirror. Just look at that shit every day. Affirm it in your brain.
100%. No, that's so important. Like, I used to have this poster up, and it's just do the hard things. Do the hard things that you know you don't want to do, and later you can live an easy life that you know you want to live.
That's discipline, brother. That's it. Oh.
Hello?
Hi. Okay, let's carry on.
Yeah.
Okay, so cut that out. But have a look.
Whatever.
We just had a fire conversation. I want to listen to this. Wait, what time did you book it till?
Till 4.
Okay, I'll go time. Cool. All right, cool. So where were we? Do you know it was just you want to do the hard things?
Yeah, do the hard things so then you can live the easy life later. It's like the delayed gratification. Don't.
Well, DG David Goggins, bro. See, but he's the master of that. Oh, that's it, man. And also, I think it's really important to. And this is something. As I said, I don't need to use the word luck, because I put myself in a situation to be in Dubai. I put myself there to meet these mentors. I found a mentor that really helped me. But one thing that is great about the internet is that there are unofficial mentors out there that you can really learn from, that are giving knowledge for free. So if you're a younger guy, maybe guys at your age, a bit younger, you can look at like David Goggins. You can look at these people and get free information if you're not jealous, but you're looking at them like, oh shit, okay, I'm going to implement some of this stuff. No, not just one, but you get different people. Yeah, I'm going to implement some of that. It's going to make my life a bit better. I'm going to implement some of that. So it's like free information that when I was young, I didn't have access to. I had to go to different countries to find. Yeah. It wasn't on there. People weren't posting this shit. They weren't. So you get a lot of free information out there.
That's what I did.
But yeah. So what was your journey of that? You're just looking online and like, fuck, I never left.
Yeah, no, I think it started with like So one, it was like when I was younger, I always had that hunger because my family wasn't like super poor, but I saw the struggle with money. Right? I saw that it was a factor of life that I looked at and I said, okay, I don't want to have that. So then I started smoking weed, and when I was high, I would scroll a lot. But then since I had that like factor of money, the things I would look at when I was high and scrolling a lot would be like the money things. So then I started getting the algorithm started showing me more money stuff, and then that led me to finding David Goggins or this person, and then finding this podcast, and it just kind of led me down the rabbit hole of like all these different concepts, business ideas, people, all these things. And then I remember the first book I ever read on my own was Happy Sexy Millionaire by Stephen Bartlett.
Oh yeah, I like Stephen. It's good.
Yeah. And his podcast was like the first one that I started listening to like religiously. And I think the biggest thing that the book and the podcast changed was that like I could do these things. Because before I thought that I wouldn't be able to do business because it's too hard, it's too this. But then through listening to these podcasts and reading this book, I was like, I can do whatever the fuck. Maybe I don't know how to do it today, but I'll figure it out. Yeah, like, and I think that was the biggest thing for me, just when realizing that I can do whatever the fuck, like whatever I can believe and conceive, I can achieve. Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of like my journey. And then obviously that just led to more podcasts, finding out more people, more books, and then, yeah.
Did it frustrate you when you see people who don't think like that?
Yeah. Well, honestly,
they say, what the fuck? You want to shake them?
Yeah, it does. But what frustrates me even more is the people that consume these things and they think this way, but they don't take any action towards it whatsoever.
Why do you think that is, though?
I think reading it, listening to it, and seeing it through a screen is a lot different than actually seeing it firsthand, right? And it takes a lot for you to, like, for example, watching a video from Iman Gadzhi about how to start a social media marketing agency. That's one thing, whereas like actually starting one is a complete different other thing. So it's definitely a big step to do something. But the reason why they don't do it is, I don't know, man. I think one is the biggest one probably is that people are too afraid of what others will think of them. And then on top of that, if let's say they do put themselves out there, they do start that thing or whatever it may be, a lot of them also just they can't persist through the hard times, or they'll quit, or they don't have that right mindset built for themselves, because persistence is so important in this game. But I don't know, what do you think about like why people, they'll consume, they'll think this way, but they won't actually do?
Yeah, so when people are in a situation where they're undisciplined, they're unmotivated, everyone around them is a loser, and they want to take action, they say one day this is enough. As soon as they step out, they're going to get ostracized because nobody's going to understand them, because everyone has their understanding of comfort right now. As soon as they decide, right, I want to just do this, straight away, automatically, it's going to happen. And I mean, I'm saying this because it's happened to me, and it's going to happen. You have to get over it, but it's going to happen. And I think right there, that's one block. People will fear that first. People will fear not even try. And then the people who do try, it might just get to them over time and then quit. And then the next step is, I think you brought it up, was consistency. It's that then you get to a first roadblock, then you get somewhere and then you quit. There was something else that was in my mind as well that was really important.
I think one of the biggest things for me, though, honestly, because I was once like that.
Yeah.
But the only reason that I changed from consuming all these things to actually taking action was I basically was in a super uncomfortable position, and it was either that I did nothing and stayed in that position, or I took radical action. And that's kind of like I had to move out, so I was paying all my bills, and then I was working a job I hated, just waking up miserable, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I need to change. So I think there's every aspect of like necessity that comes out of that, of like just needing to change.
You have to be fed up with your life. You really do. You have to get to a point where you're like, I can't live like this anymore. It's either this or I kill myself. I've got to that point. I was at that point. I can't. I have to kill myself, or I have to change. Simple as that. And I want to live, so I have to change. Now the issue, this is where it gets a little bit more difficult for people, is when they live in a life of comfortable despair, where they're like, had a little bit, they haven't hit that point. They're comfortable. They might have mommy and daddy's money, so they don't really need to do anything. But then they know that they're still a fucking degenerate. They know that they're still a loser but just, they're not living their fullest potential. They know that.
Yeah.
But they haven't reached the point where they have to change. So I think this is why they watch the content. I think that's why they'll keep watching it. They'll watch it for entertainment, hitting dopamine. Because if they feel like they're doing something, it's a weird neurosis trick that we have. Like, not trick, but like people who watch stuff believe that they're actually, I'm going to do this tomorrow. Do you know what I'm going to do it? And they'll say that for like 5 years. And doing this neurocycle. Because no one's holding them accountable. That's what I mean. They haven't got like positive figures or like, dude, last week you said you're going to do that. Why the fuck have you not done that? They haven't got that. So like, you know, they get around, oh, do you know what, Mom, I'm going to start this business. Oh, really? Nice, son, nice. Month later, do you know what, Mom? Yeah, I'm going to start this business. Yeah, nice. Do you know, people are just sort of enabling your bullshit. There's no one holding people accountable. So I think people watch these because I think the original question was about mentors and so on. As we can appoint unofficial mentors, and the reason why people just watch these unofficial mentors is because it gives them. It's like watching a movie, right? I think essentially people are just watching movies of millionaires, and they just don't have anyone to hold them accountable to take action, which is kind of sad because ultimately you have to do it yourself. But if you've lived a life of comfortable despair where, yeah, it's not too hard, but it's not too difficult, you can sort of get by, you're not really important in life, but, you know, you're not a bum, you're sort of okay, you might be earning a decent amount of money, but deep down, you know, inside you can do better. Yeah, I think it's harder for these people. But if you are in that situation, if these people watching are in a situation, you're going to have to Tony Robbins says, if you want to take the island, you have to burn the fucking boats. You have to burn the boats. If you are that, you have to just fucking leave. Go uncomfortable. Go to a new country and fucking everything you've got and see what happens. Test yourself. Just go to fucking Colombia. Whatever you might have $500. Just go. See what happens. Just see what happens.
Yeah.
Test yourself. If you're living this comfortable life, because I think everyone seeks adventure, right? Everyone wants to do something. Everyone wants to seek adventure. It's why we watch movies. Why do we watch movies and Netflix and shit? Why was like Game of Thrones so fucking popular? We want that life. We want it. Then just do it. And it's like, I know all the excuses come up, well, I've got a job. Oh, fuck your job. You don't like it. Well, my family's got, if the family love you, they're going to love that you're better. I've got this, I've got that. It's enough. Fuck all that. Just do it. Just go to, I say this, I swear to God, like I've got some students, I say this to them, go to a new fucking country, something you've never been to before. Just see what happens. Just see what happens. Don't even fucking, I'd rather have a plan, but just go. Or like go to a new city in your country, because like the UK is quite small, but Canada's huge. Just go somewhere, if you're from the US, go to just different state. Just do something. Because if you don't take action, right, if you don't change your life, then nothing's going to change. And it's just like, dude, it frustrates me. That's why I listen to you, because it frustrates me when I see people who are like, because I believe everyone's got full potential.
Yeah, me too.
It doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter how old you are. I believe, there's something you could do that you could be better at. Doesn't matter if you're 8 years old or whatever. There's something you can do. It doesn't have to be financial. It could be the caring. It could be something that's beneficial to society. And that's beautiful. If you're an older person, you could help people in different ways. Whether if you're a younger person, whatever your ethnic background is, I believe people can do more. And it really frustrates me when I'm like, I've got my own family members. It's like, yeah, but there's this and that. I'm just like, fucking shut up. Like, another exercise. Write down every excuse you have and write down everything. Write down every excuse you have, right? Every excuse. And change that to a reason. I can't do it because of my family. Look, the reason you start a business is because you have a family. That's why you need to start a business. I can't do it because of my health. I can't work out because I'm tired. You're tired all the time because you're unhealthy. You need to work out. Turn your excuses into reasons. And also believe every single excuse you have, every person you looked up to has had exactly the same excuses. They just chose to turn their excuses into reasons, into action, and create the life they want. Everyone can do this. And it really frustrates me when I'm speaking to people and they just give me bullshit all the time. I feel like fucking just choking them out. This dude, come on.
Yeah, me too. Or it's like, I hate when people say that they can't do something. That's like if you ask me, can you do that? I said, I would answer not, maybe not right now. I'll figure it out. You like the people that like just take things as like solid, or like, I guess it's just the fixed mindset, right? It's like, I'm like this and I can't do this. Or it's like, no, you are you, and you could do fucking anything. Because I've learned anything, and sure, you can't fucking ride a bike today, but tomorrow maybe you can get a little bit better, and then in a week you could probably ride a bike.
Dude, every single person you know learned a language without even know what a language is. Didn't even know understand the concept of a language, and learned it. Learned how to walk. You learned this shit, and you learned this shit when you were like a fucking baby. Like, so you can't learn a little skill now. You know what I mean? You can't learn a little drop shipping skill or a little fucking, something, a little Amazon FBA or a little SMMA. Like, you can't learn something. You can't learn how to read, write. I mean, like, write novels or whatever you want to do. Whatever your passion is, you can learn. You can learn. But I hate that too. I say can't is one letter too long. And it is. It's one letter too long. You can do it. I believe you can do fucking, like, dude, impossible is being broken so many times, man. Like, so many times with our concept of, like, even for me, when I'm seeing, like, these 19, 20-year-old men, it blows my mind. Because I didn't think it was possible. And that's fucking possible. It was my limiting belief. That's why I didn't do it. Because I thought it was a ceiling. Like, when I'm earning $15,000, like, dollars, it was around $50,000 a year. I'm thinking, like, yeah, like, if you earn $100,000 a year, you're the richest man on earth. And then I go to the bank, people earning a month. I'm like, huh? What the fuck?
Yeah.
It's just your fucking limiting beliefs. I hate that too when people say they can't do anything. It's like, all right, you might not be able to do it now, but you can do something to go towards that. Yeah. Can't ride a bike, but you can buy a bike. You can look at the bike. You can understand it. You can do something. You're like for me, like, I don't know how to run a media agency, but I guarantee I could learn how to. I guarantee I could get the next steps where I'm up and running. It might be shit, but I'd rather have a shit product than no product, and then build that shit product into a good product. Yeah. But yeah, I hate that. Like Confucius says, those who say they can't and those who say they can are both normally right.
Yeah.
And that's it. Why are you telling yourself you can't do something? Does it make you feel better? Does it? But it makes people feel better because it's comfort. They're like, oh, well, I can't. So now I have no accountability because I can't do it. I can't. Like, if someone says, right, you have to make an extra $10,000, I'm going to wipe out your whole family. Oh, then you'll start to realize, oh, you can do some shit, right? There's just no motivation behind it. And it's just easier. And people enable that. Because I've also been there. Like, when I would say to myself, I can't do it. I can't get better. I can't do it. People are like, yeah, do you know what? You're doing your best. Don't worry. It's not your fault. See, it's the fucking bullshit society, man. But yeah, can. And this is part of spirituality too. It's the words you say to yourself, the affirmations that you keep telling yourself. If you keep telling yourself you can do things, over time, you're going to believe you're a fucking dangerous motherfucker that can do anything. And that's what you want to be. Society doesn't want you to be that. Society wants to be pacified. And you can only do things to a level. And then at that level, no, you can't do that. Like, no, you can. You can do whatever the fuck you want. Like, whatever you want. You can live a life you want. People might not even, like, be living a life that you've seen. You might envisage something that's so fucking spectacular. And I think it's selfish if you don't fulfill that prophecy. Because people are not going to benefit from that. If you own a business and you grow like a sustainable, ethical business, you're going to benefit people. If you keep that inside because I can't do it, I'm too tired, it's fucking selfish. It's so selfish. You know what I mean? If you can do something, do it. And anyone can do something. I say, hey, Corey, it'll come to me. But everyone can do something. There's always something you can do. There's always something you can improve on. Always focus. This is why you have to go internal. Look at yourself. Look at what you're doing. What am I doing wrong? What am I doing right? Focus on my flaws. Focus on my flaws and focus on the areas of my business, my personal development, my family, my health that are lacking, and I need to do something about it every day. This doesn't get easier, man. I tell you it doesn't, but it gets fucking more fruitful. You get more fulfilled because it's someone like me, and I know that for the rest of my life I'll be like this. I'm just going to constantly get better. And by doing that, it's just have that mindset. I can do anything possible. Do everything I can fly. I don't know how, but one day I'm going to fucking fly. Like, I don't know how, but we'll get there. But yeah, that frustrates me, man, too, when people say I can't do something. Or excuses sound best to those who make them. And I fucking hate it, bro. I don't get angry too much. These are little things. It's like, I don't get angry about the shit I do. I just get so frustrated and angry when I see people who like just fucking doing nothing. And it's like, but my mental health's bad. I've got 4 kids. So I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm not asking you to be fucking a billionaire, but just, you can do something a bit better. You don't have to be fat. No one has to be fat. No one has to be. Eat less food. That's it. Simple. Eat less food, walk. You don't have to join a gym. Just stop eating like a fucking pig. Eat less food and go for a walk. Yeah. That's it. Oh, I'm fucking depressed and tired. Get out the fucking house. You're on your fucking PlayStation 12 hours a day. Get out the house. Do you know what I mean? Go and see. This is the little things I did. I actually started volunteering. I volunteered at different, like I had like these autistic friends. I volunteer, makes you feel better. I get something from it. Also, you get to learn. You get to learn about different people. There's things you can do that don't require money, because I don't have the money for shit. There's things you can do. Oh, something you can do. I can. Affirm it. When you wake up, you say, I can do anything I want. I can. I might not know how, but I fucking can do something. I say this shit to myself all the time, bro. Like I'm sharing some knowledge here, like what I actually do. Like when things get tough, I'll look in the mirror and say, fucking, you're a bad motherfucker. You can do this. You can do something. You might fail, but fail with fucking pride. Fail with pride that you give everything. Give 100% and you can do it. I get a bit passionate when I talk about this shit.
100%. Fucking love it. Okay, I think it's getting close. You're going to have to leave soon. So I'm going to ask you one last question. So if your younger self was standing right in front of you right now, and you could give him one piece of advice, what piece of advice would you give him?
Don't be a bitch. Not joking. Cut that out. Ask the question again.
Let's. All right, so I know that you got to head out here. I want to ask you one last question. If your younger self was standing in front of you right now, and you could give him one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
It's your life. You're the master, the conductor, and you're the author of your story. Avoid every distraction possible. Don't listen to what people say who haven't walked the path that you want to walk. Seek out mentors. Seek out knowledge. Remember, you can do anything possible. And ultimately, when you meet your God or your maker, you are accountable for the things and the impact you've had. So just keep going. And it's going to be tough, but it's going to be beautiful at the end when you're smiling. That's what I said. So
I like it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Adam.
Thank you, bro. You got a good thing going on, man. You got a good thing going on. Follow this guy.
See you guys next time.
Peace, brothers
Bye.
and sisters.